prosecution. And the Congress has told not just the FBI, but all federal agents that they can write their own search warrants, serve them on a financial institution, use the evidence obtained against you, and make it a crime for the financial institution to tell you. It's even a crime for the custodian, the person at the financial institution, to tell anyone that he or she has received a self-written search warrant. So the banker can't tell her husband, her lawyer, her significant other, a priest in the confessional booth, can't even tell a judge in a federal court. That's why these challenges, when there are challenges, are always John Doe or Mary Roe versus John Ashcroft or Alberto Gonzalez. Because if you file a complaint with your real name on it, 5 years in a federal prison. And the evidence is right there. You broke the law. You revealed that an FBI agent knocked on your door and handed you a self-written search warrant. Even the Patriot Act, however, as abominable as it is, limited the targets of self-written search warrants to financial institutions. Now, 2 years later, on December 13, 2003, a day in which everyone in this room will remember where she or he was, the president signed an innocuous-sounding, long, boring financial document into law, the Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal 2004. Basically, this act provides appropriations from the General Treasury for the 16 intelligence agencies that we know about, and the 2,000 intelligence agencies that we don't know about. I'm laughing. If we don't know about them, how would we know there's 2,000? We don't know what we don't know. Sounds a little Rumsfeldian, doesn't it? Tucked into the Intelligence Authorization Act for 04 is a definition that would have made George Orwell proud. Remember FISA. Remember the Right to Financial Privacy Act. Remember even the Patriot Act. The target must always be a financial institution. So this abomination that the president signed into law on December 13, 2003, defines financial institution as follows: a bank, a trust company, a credit union. So far, okay. A delicatessen, a bodega, a restaurant, a hotel, a casino, a travel agency. Your lawyer's office, your doctor's office, your telephone company, your computer server, and that great financial institution to which we will all repose our fortunes, the post office. So think about how Orwellian this is. The first three statutes say your target can only be a financial institution. This statute redefines financial institution to mean just about everything under the sun except your home. So now if an FBI agent or a federal agent from any of the federal agencies shows up with a self-written search warrant, they can read your mail before you do. They can see your medical records from your doctor, your HMO, your hospital, your pharmacist. They can find out what you ate at a restaurant, what you purchased at a supermarket, what you read that came in your mail. All of this without you ever knowing anything about it, and all of this without a federal judge ever involved. Whatever became of the right to be left alone. Oh, and December 13, 2003, why did the president sign it on that day? Because he knew that something happened 10,000 miles away which would so dominate and captivate the front pages that no one would notice this redefinition of the term financial institution until months, and he hoped years later. It was the day we captured Saddam Hussein. Who the heck is going to read a statute when that's dominating the headlines? It was actually a clerk for some federal agency discovered this and thought it was a mistake and put it on the wire services January 29th, a month and a half later, and we all read it and realized the monstrosity. How did your representatives in the Congress vote on this statute? You'll never know, because it was a voice vote. Assault the Constitution, even read what you're enacting. Change the natural meaning of human words. Don't even record your vote on it, as if all of this isn't bad enough. In December of 2006, after they knew they had lost majorities in both houses of Congress, the Republicans and the President, with the complicity of some Democrats, enacted the Military Commissions Act of 2006. One would think that if one is tried for a crime and acquitted, found not guilty, one would be freed. The Military Commissions Act of 2006 gives the President of the United States power that even the great dictators of the 20th century never claimed to have, and that is the right to continue incarceration even after acquittal. Good God, how low have we let the government sink? I have called this book A Nation of Sheep, because we act like sheep when we let the government steal our freedoms regularly, consistently, systematically, and repeatedly without even uttering a cry in protest. Now, not everything is lost. I don't want to ruin your appetites. There's a nice dinner about to come. Who has saved us from some of this? Believe it or not, those people who rail against activist judges should stop the railing. When the president said he could lock someone up and declare them an enemy combatant and throw away the key, not bring that person before a judge, not charge that person with a crime, not let them talk to a lawyer, not prosecute them, not give themselves a chance to defend themselves, the Supreme Court, by a vote of 8-1, said, no, you can't do that in this country. When the president's advisors said, take those bad guys to Guantanamo Bay, it's Cuba, it's not the United States, the criminal laws don't apply, you can torture and maim and do whatever you want, the treaties don't apply, the Constitution doesn't apply, and best of all, Mr. President, those pesky federal judges you alone because they don't have jurisdiction over Cuba. The Supreme Court rejected that argument by a vote of 6-3. The Military Commissions Act of 2006 also took a lesson from Abe Lincoln, because you see, if the government swoops you up and you end up in Guantanamo Bay, where there's no jury and no independent judge and no right to look at all of the evidence against you, you have no right to habeas corpus. You cannot challenge the jailer and force the jailer to justify under the Constitution, a natural right that everyone in the Anglo-American world has had since 1215. Now, why has this happened? I suspect that it has happened because Americans are afraid. I think that FDR was one of the great socialists of all time, but during World War II, he preached hope and not fear. He preached that freedom would prevail. The administration that sits a couple of blocks from where we are now intimidates and scares and uses state secrets and secret evidence and shares it with members of Congress, and after they've looked at this stuff and God knows what it is, they come out and they vote to destroy the Constitution. Where is freedom? Freedom is in our hearts. If it dies there, forget it. No judge, no speech, no book, no cable TV, no legislature is going to bring it back. But if it lives in our hearts, no government can for very long keep it away. God love you.